Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to yet again another episode. I'm joined by the absolute legends, Spider LFC. Massive thank you very much for joining me, mate, and obviously tuning into all my other live streams as well, as I know you have been. How you doing, mate? And
I'm good.
the
Excited, waiting for it to come up. Good couple of results went our way today, so I'm
Yeah,
happy.
yeah. Obviously, the big results. Obviously, I did do a live stream watch along Manchester City with a very comfortable 2-0 win this morning. So, obviously, that helped us, as Spider alluded to, and obviously a massive result. I'll have to check that is full time in the Wolves game. But I tell you what, it was just another typical game that Spurs dropping points against Spider. Obviously,
I,
Conte.
I've I've been
It's
saying since the start of the season, Spurs are just going to do Spurs after February. Well, even the end of January,
Yeah,
start of
full
February.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
full time.
there you go.
Wolves 1-0. So we'll have a little look at the table where that leaves Liverpool. But most importantly, chat, hope you've had a fantastic Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning if you are watching this in the preparation build up. Because Kev, it doesn't get any bigger really in reality, does it? Two of England's and of course European football's two biggest clubs. What does this fixture mean to you, mate? Because obviously Ireland has got obviously quite divided in terms of obviously
Yeah,
Manchester United and Liverpool. Have you got quite a lot of Manchester United mates that you need? We're all going into this where you needing to win.
I have, but just over the last few seasons, I haven't seen any of them, or they've
Yeah.
deleted me off Facebook because they've just disappeared, man. And then one or two tried to add me back this season because United are playing that way. And the first message they get off me is like, "There's no point in adding me back this season when you're playing well, when you're
Yeah.
disappeared for the last four seasons." So they don't get the ad back. That's it, It's just that's childishness for me. So I just
Yeah.
kind of I ignore these kind of fickle, as I call them, the fake fans, the barstool supporters, as I call them. We're all barstool supporters, but these guys are 100% barstool supporters that talk the biggest amount of crap. So I just avoid them. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, good lad. And of course, Manchester United will know. We'll speak about Manchester United's good form
Yeah.
in tonight's episode anyway, everyone. And I've done it. I don't think me and Kev, obviously, we spoke over the last year in terms of Liverpool winning the League Cup. Manchester United, give it another 12 months. But Kev, if they continue the good form in which they have, very much,
Mm.
for me, you've got a proper manager in charge now.
Yeah.
No more PE teachers. It's a Dutch
Mm.
proper manager in charge of
Yeah.
all these. A very talented squad, of course. That squad has probably been underperforming massively for the last couple of years, mate. But
Yeah.
what have you thought of the impact Eric Ten Hag has had on this Manchester United side?
It took him a while to kind of get going, but he's starting to have the team gelling well with the I mean, they already had a bit of talent there, I mean, Marcus Rashford, everybody wanted him out the door as United supporter for the last 2 or 3
It's
seasons,
mad how
and
that's
all of us,
transpired, though,
yeah,
Kev, and
it's
chatting
nuts.
it.
But
Like,
he was always a good player. It's just that,
yeah,
you have to have the right manager and the right mentality to play within a team and within a squad to do. Liverpool have had it for the last few years. We're on the point where the lads haven't lost the ability to play football. They're just mentally tired. That's all that's happened
yeah,
with the Liverpool this season. It's just mentally tired. And, we needed some backup in the midfield. Yeah, we got Stefan Bajcetic and it was supposed to be Arthur Melo coming in, but look what happened there. But maybe, Klopp just thought that, bringing Bajcetic through, he mightn't have even gotten through if Arthur Melo was playing normally, so we mightn't have seen Stefan
yeah,
Bajcetic for the next couple of next season or so, or he might have even gone out under the radar and disappeared to
yeah,
another club. So look, at the moment, Ten Hag is doing really well with United, and I think this game they caught us cold kind of at the start of the season where I thought we
a
still
2-1.
were the better. Yeah, I still
A
thought we were the
2-1
better
win, wasn't
side.
it, for
Yeah,
United? And well, we spoke then, mate, didn't we? And
yeah,
all was
mm,
some in Liverpool's defending that day.
yeah. It
Well,
was terrible.
it was. Would you say it was a highlight of things of what to come and what to
Yeah.
expect for Liverpool this season?
Yeah, I was just kind of showcasing what was happening, that the midfield wasn't covering the defence, but that was down to our fault. We were still better on the ball that day. We still knew what we were doing, but just there was no cover from the midfield. And it was
Cool,
kind of
bro.
the start of a downfall of what happened to us in our midfield, covering our defence. The hangover was really, really starting to kick in at that point. We thought after the City result in the Community Shield that we'd start driving on for the season. Maybe they won't. Like I was worried because I thought we're going to be tired here, but then I was thinking, wait, this could be a good game because
Yeah,
City only played one game before playing the Community Shield, So he said, yeah, this could be a balance of what's to come. But yeah, the results as you see didn't go our way, lack of confidence. But it's 10 points out of 12 now, Jack, in the last few games.
Much better.
We're on a good vein of form in the league. And I can't see why we can't go and just beat United at home. For me, it's still the same team we're playing against. Different manager and different style, but we really have to step up and just not allow them have the ball and watch the counter attacks, because that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to try and beat that ball up over that right back position towards over Trent Alexander-Arnold's head. Which I think there might be a change in that position tomorrow if Rashford is on the form that he's in, but we'll see.
We'll get to starting 11s very soon, mate, anyway. But chats, obviously, most importantly, let me know your thoughts going into this game. Enough. It doesn't really matter about me and what me and Kev have. We're more interested in what you think in the comment section below. So if you are watching on the repeats after the live show, always do get your comments in the comment section below, wherever you are watching around the world. Let us know who you'll be watching it with, your mates as a spider. Have you got any Manchester United mates that do wind it up, or if you're going into work tomorrow and you know what you're to expect, obviously on Monday morning, hopefully with the Reds 3 points anyway. It's a massive game. And as brought up the Premier League tables, Kev alluded to, Spurs getting beat have just been, if you just come in from the shops or whatnot, if you're being out, Spurs have dropped 3 points in terms of the top 4 pursuit. So Liverpool, as we know, as you can see from that table, we have got 2 games in hand on Tottenham. And I might be wrong, but it's currently, Kevin, it's Manchester United. The Manchester United game tomorrow, we need to win that. If we can, it'll be 3 points gained on the likes of Newcastle and Tottenham. But obviously the game in hand is against Chelsea as well in a couple of weeks' time. So, as to say, but we've got to think at one game at a time. But, trying to not jump ahead, but if we can, as we all know, it will be massive. And I'll tell you what, let the rest of the Premier League write us off. And I'll tell you what, of course, the aspirations weren't top 4 this season, but things have happened and transpired, Kev, haven't we? Where goalposts have very much been switched massively in relation to Liverpool's aspirations. How are you feeling off the back of this result? How do you anticipate Liverpool going into this fixture tomorrow? Obviously, it doesn't need bigging up because it is Man United, but with the results hopefully going, which they have today, gone Liverpool's way, it's yet again presents itself for Jurgen Klopp's side another opportunity where they need to capitalise on.
Yeah, for me, straight away, I can see us dropping a bit deeper like we did in a couple of games that we in those last 10 out of 12 points. Reason being is that United are going to give up possessional play to us, I think, at home. And they'll just try and hit us on the counter attack, long ball over the top to Rashford, and dropping deeper just takes that out of the equation, really. With Konate back in the fray and Van Dijk back in the fray, and they played well the last game. So for me, with them guys being back and covering, I don't know what we're going to do about Trent. I don't know what Klopp's going to do there, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
I'd play Trent. I think we would.
Yeah.
It's not like, I know Carl's mentioned Milner there, mate, but I was watching Phil Foden today in the pre-match build-up. Obviously, not the pre-match build-up, the live stream watch-along, so massive thank yous to everyone that tuned in for that. And I was just having flashbacks to when Milner played right back against Foden a couple of months ago at Anfield, and well, I think it was last year or the year before, and he absolutely terrorised him. And there's no more, as you alluded to there, Kev, there's no more informed player in the whole of Europe for me. I think Rashford's in the top 3 of most informed players in the whole of Europe. He's in the form of his life.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and that's what you have to watch. And but I've always said there's a good player inside in Rashford, and more of his own supporters were concentrating more on what he was doing off the pitch, with the food banks and all this kind of stuff, and help people out rather than doing it on the pitch. And I just think that he was kind of a little bit distracted because he just wasn't happy within the club that he was playing in at the time. He wasn't happy with how the manager was playing him. He wasn't happy with how the team was set up, how they were looking for him, and there was too much pressure being put on his shoulders. I think the Ronaldo situation was a big situation for United as well. I think getting rid of Ronaldo was a massive thing.
That's a great point that you've mentioned there, mate. And chat, let us know, how do you feel? I'll ask Kevin a sec. How do you feel, chat? Because I felt that is a massive issue that Manchester United have very much faced in recent seasons.
Yeah.
And this is why I allude to Eric Ten Hag, because sadly he's doing well in terms of balancing those egos and really understanding setting down a marker in reality, Kevin, in terms of putting his foot down. Whereas previous managers like Mourinho, when there's been in-house fights, is well documented. But it's a great point you've alluded to in there, mate. How do you think do you think that is a massive point to why Man United have really improved in recent weeks and months? Of course, we'll mention Casemiro, but in terms of the leadership, really, from the manager and Ten Hag, just stamping his philosophy, of course, on the team, but really just understanding where other managers have obviously failed in reality.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think Ronaldo leaving was 30% of a problem from. The reason being that it's that high of a problem from, you could turn around and say 10 to 15% of the reason, but it was also the fact that he was a top goal scorer and losing those goals on top of that. It like, you can be the top goal scorer in a team, as you've seen with many teams down through the years, and just be a stain on the team for attitude-wise, presence-wise. Hindrance-wise is the main thing that I've seen with Manchester United. So with Ronaldo playing, Bruno Fernandes took a massive hit as a player within that team. He had a great, he had a great first season. You know, you have the guy that plays in the same team as with Portugal coming in. He was also your captain, who's then coming into United, and you also have to look up at him in that way. So now your confidence and ego level has gone down because you're pandering to this guy that's above you. And that's the thing about players like Ronaldo, like that. You're going to be pandering to these players. In some cases in their prime, rightly so. But the fact that they're at an age that they're at now, there should be no longer pandering. You know, you have to treat them as a peer, and not people might talk to them as a peer, but the media doesn't treat them like peers. They don't treat them like anything but, you know, higher level players, and that creeps into the mindset of how a team plays as well. You know, so Bruno took a hit that way. Fred has always been up and down for me. Casemiro has been a breath of fresh air for them.
We'll get on to him as well, mates, because I think me and you have spoke over the last couple of years in terms of. I think everyone knows in terms of the quality. Obviously, Weghorst, it's going to be interesting. We'll speak about it. Technically, I think that's where Liverpool need to switch on tomorrow. We'll go into that in a little second, but we'll get to Owen's comments as well. Big up, Mary. Good luck to the Reds. Fingers crossed, Mary. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. A massive thank you for tuning in. Big up, George. Up the Reds. Go ahead, La. Hopefully the Reds. And Carl as well. How you doing, mate? We've had a fantastic weekend. Every single one is. So really appreciate everyone for your continued support.
I forgot to say hello to Henry. Hello, Henry.
Oh, and Henry as well. And Jordan as well.
To me,
absolute legends. So obviously, if you are watching the post-match, make sure you do tune in on the lives. We will give you a little shout out. And of course, you can have more fan interaction, really. And we'll big up there, Everest. Absolute legends. And feel like we're going to either draw or lose. I don't want to be negative, but it's tough to be optimistic after all the ups and downs we've been through. And it's the thing, I understand, I think quite a large percentage are probably agreeing with it, Everest, and that goes to point what I asked Kev before in terms of obviously the up and down form and up and down nature of Liverpool this season. But I think, how important do you think, of course it will be in terms of our aspirations for fourth tomorrow, Kev, but how much of a bigger boost do you think it will give? Because it's Man United, but I feel everyone going into the ground, everyone supporting around the world, whether it be in the pubs or with the family or whatnot, and even the players, the confidence, hopefully. We've seen Salah whip off his kit after scoring, making it 2-0 in previous years, the passion coming from him. How important do you think it will have an impact on this Liverpool team, not just for tomorrow, but in terms of the weeks to come?
Oh, it'd be massive. You know, I mean, as I said, we have 10 points from 12. With regards Liverpool being in this type of form over the last few years, as Carl said, they were a different team at home. When we have got these little dips or whatever, it's been at a team like Crystal Palace with a draw, or it's been at, you know, a silly, as we said, a loss to Leeds or something silly like that. But then we go on and just beat the big teams afterwards, and that's what we tend to do. So that's the kind of vein that I'm in, that drop points is the 10 or 12 you want to see, and then it's going to be 13 out of 15 points, and that's the way it's going to look for the next few weeks, and that's the way I want to see it. I feel confident that we can do them at home. I think United are going to come to get a draw or to nick a win with a counter-attack, and I think we'll come to have the mindset of we can't have anything less than a win. and that's the point. Case in point, we can get a draw all we like, but it doesn't help us to. It gains 1 point on the teams that are above us. I know we might have 2 games in hand on Spurs at this stage, but those 2 games in hand are tomorrow and Chelsea. So you need to pick up these points where you can, especially at home, and it's just also kind of bring United a bit down a level because they're really getting ahead of themselves for the situation that they're in this season. I know they're doing well under Ten Hag, but it's just there's no real.
Is that the Man United fans kicking off?
I don't know what that
Yeah,
was. There was something going flying anyway. But
it's probably David Beckham's boot.
I thought it was in your house first, but it's not. I think it's the Wi-Fi next door.
Oh.
But so are you dead? No, really joking. So So for me, look, there's a peg or two to be taken down as well, and it's a big test for them. If they can do a double over us, they know they've improved in the season. Because no matter what, it's still Liverpool versus United. Anybody can beat anybody, even if we're at our peak and they're at their worst. We've seen that in cup games over the last few years. We've seen that,
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a game that we need to do, and I think Klopp needs to assert his position within the league as well, within this team, and say, look, we might have had a bad start first half of the season, and we're past the midpoint, we've turned the corner, and we're going to drive on now for the next however many games are left.
Big spot on. Big up there, Matthias. Thank you very much for that, mate. Obviously, as he alluded to, Liverpool's home form, obviously 8 wins, pinpointing, obviously 8 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss. Manchester United away, obviously picking up 6 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. Big up there, mate. Really do appreciate that. Yeah, it's just pinpointing. Obviously, it's going to be intriguing. And chat, we will get to the starting 11s in a little second anyway. In terms of, but we'll get to everyone's comments as well. And big up Brian. Obviously, yes, we did call it, mate. Well, you did call it. Obviously, I was doing a City Newcastle watch along this morning, and that's what we were hoping for, Reds, as weren't we? Obviously. And we, as Kev's alluded to, and we've all alluded to over the last couple of years, where Liverpool have sometimes not just picked up the points where it matters the most, but hopefully come tomorrow afternoon, and we just hopefully Forest get a cheeky result. Sorry, Tom. But it's going to be interesting now that I think Forest should win that at home anyway. But it is hot and up at the bottom of the table anyway. Let's have a quick look in terms of, not a long look, but in terms of a quick look. Obviously, Wolves, that's took them away 3 points ahead. Yeah, so that's dragged them a bit more ahead of safety, really. And Palace, obviously Crystal Palace getting beat today. I think it was against Aston Villa. So you look at that, Kevin. Teams really do need to start winning at the bottom, mate. Because if you get 5-10 points down away from that in the next couple of weeks,
that trio, and that
really difficult.
That trio and that relegation is who I said was going to go down this season.
Did you go with
I did go with Everton at the start because I just said, can they recover enough under Frank Lampard, or will they give him enough time that he will still do damage there? Before somebody else is brought in. And Sean Dyche is in that. He's had one good game at the start and then one win in between or something. But now, like you're talking about, this is a 6-pointer. Forest can get a point at home and still be comfortable with a game in hand, 6 points ahead or something, So it's
we're all Forest tomorrow, chat, aren't we?
Before the game. That's what happens, Sam, when you come into the thing and just start laughing about Liverpool losing, which we haven't yet.
We'll wait until what happens tomorrow. We'll get messages of Tom. Tom's Sam. We all know Tom in the comments. But big up there, Bird. Hope you're well, matey. And as I said, are you? Of course, I'm doing one, mate.
Yeah.
Obviously, YouTube, we know what a type of algorithm it is. Probably one of the worst in social media terms. Obviously, if you are watching on Facebook, obviously drop us a follow. Obviously, we're close to 8,000 followers on Facebook, which is fantastic. So YouTube, if you're listening, I do prefer Facebook. So yeah, sod yeah. But so if you're not following on Facebook, it's a much more better discoverability as well. So stay tuned on that as well. But yes, we will be doing a watch along for that. It's a double watch along tomorrow. Obviously, we've got an Italian game in the evening as well. So stay tuned on the channel. But Carl, Jack, get your score predictions in. Kev, I'll get your quick score prediction in there. Nice. I've gone 1-0. Jack, get your score predictions and we'll quickly rattle through them. What are you hoping for tomorrow? What's your head and what's your heart saying?
I think it says 2-0. I don't know why it is. I don't want United to score, and I think we're doing well with the clean sheets recently. that I want to see a 2-0, and I think we might score early on, and then it could be just a late one. Another breakaway from Salah, another run through, Darwin Núñez run through over the top or something like that.
I cannot wait to see Darwin play tomorrow night.
Against United,
this is one of the biggest aspects of going into tomorrow night's game, because we don't know what we're going to get. Anything could happen. That's the lottery when you play Darwin. But I love him, mate. The more I watch him, and I think all of his challenges know, I just love him. I think it was the game before, obviously the game we've just played anyway, where we massively missed him against Crystal Palace. We missed his quality in that game. There was no one stretching that Palace back line, but we've seen him come in a couple of nights ago at home against Wolves, and he completely changed the game.
Yeah, do you know what? To be honest with you, because I mean, Gakpo's done well as well from coming back and winning balls from the midfield, much more than Núñez had. So I think there's a balance going to happen, especially when Luis Diaz comes back. I think that you could actually see Gakpo moving into a more midfield position, but an attacking midfield position, and you could probably see a staggered formation about to happen, and you could I can see it in the last weeks. There is a developing formation within Liverpool where Gakpo drops back behind the forward lines. So for me, Núñez has been outstanding. He's been brilliant coming in from that left hand side. Gakpo has been winning balls well, kind of what Bobby did a lot throughout his career, coming back and nicking the ball in the middle of the park, and then we're like 4v2 but not doing anything with it. So that's that. So
We'll quickly round up in a little second, mate.
It's grand, man. It's grand.
That's right.
Sorry, I can hear him here now.
That's all good.
I can say hello to him.
And we are. Everyone say hello. So obviously, Mini Spider. There we go. But chat, let us know, obviously, your score predictions. We'll go into, obviously, team selection. Chat, if you can get your starting 11s in. Me and Kev will go through. They're quickly starting 11 anyway, but chat, get your starting 11 in. But Kev, what was your score prediction? Sorry, lad.
I said 2-0. Sorry, lad.
2-0. Sorry, I went 1-0. Obviously, was it? Carl's gone with a 3-1, but as Jay said, these games, the form book goes out the window. We had to be up for the physical battle tomorrow, 100%, Shay. We won this even when we had Gerrard and obviously Carragher as well on your teams, even obviously the level of Manchester United, even especially people for the last 20 years prior to obviously Jurgen Klopp coming in, Manchester United have always been successful in these games, Kev. But even when we had Rafa and his tactics, and even on the moments in Brendan Rodgers' time as well, mate, just about getting that physical battle, as Shay's alluding to there. You can't let any blade of grass really bounce out at them. You just got to get straight into them. That's what. I mean, what this game's all about. Just get into them.
Yeah. So for the results for me for the last few weeks, especially the one against Real Madrid, it was down to individual errors. I think even after that, after I said it live in the stream, I think Klopp even came out and said it afterwards as well. It was really down to individual errors. Look, I don't want to point the finger at one player all the time, but for me, Joe Gomez, he was a big problem. Only for the fact that he gave away the free kick that led to the third goal. He wasn't covering. Even him and Trent weren't covering Vinicius when he came in.
Probably one of the most individual poorest performances I've seen in Liverpool for a long time.
For me, that was kind of I've always put hope in Joe, because he's a great player. He's got the speed, he's got the talent, but as I said, he's got absent-mindedness. And his mind goes on what he's doing. He's thinking of, you could see when he's on the pitch, he's thinking of scenarios in his head, and he's just acting on those without actually just watching what's happening in the game. So if he wins a ball back, he's thinking, oh, I'm great, then loses it doing something stupid. It just seems like that. It seems like he's immediately thinking about the stuff he's just done or just done wrong, and it's just, he should just be reactive and think ahead, not think about, is what I always say. Think ahead, don't think about. And that for me was a big downfall for us in that game. The positioning sense, you can't expect Darwin Núñez, who's supposed to be running out to the penalty spot, to defend a ball that's coming in ahead of him at that pace. So I mean, Militao just got into a position that was Joe Gomez's really, and if I'm saying it as well, also Jordan Henderson's position that should have been in there in that position as well. So, but Gomez not stepping up whatever about zonal marking. If the ball is near your head, just go for it. Call it and go for it. You're the defender. You should take priority over all midfielders. You take priority over all strikers that are in the box. Sometimes even over a goalkeeper, unless the goalkeeper obviously has the biggest shout. He gets priority over everybody inside the box. But he should also, if he says I have it, he should be screaming his name and he should be clearing it.
And we can't be having that tomorrow, Kev, can't we?
No.
Especially whoever does play, and we'll go into the starting 11s in a little second as well. But yeah, Shay, keep on getting your comments in as well. If you are new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And obviously, please, mods, can you put Kev's channel link? He's no Kev. Spider LFC and obviously gaming channel as well. So can you please drop his channel links in the comments as well? Massively appreciated as well. But big up there, Shay. Have Arsenal morphed into Liverpool 2019? That was some results for them today. Yeah, I was saying to Kev before we come on air, and I was made up. I was sat before we were coming on air. I was like, go get it, because I've got a load of great Arsenal mates that I have obviously doing the YouTube and everything over the last couple of years, and I was made up for them. And it's just one of them, Kevin. We've had one of them. We've had those results, and there's nothing better. Just whatever team you support. It's what football's all about, especially that just shows the mentality switch now from Arsenal. Everyone go, yeah, it's against Bournemouth. Doesn't matter who it's against. You could be playing Real Madrid, you could be playing Brighton, or you could be playing Bournemouth today. It's just about getting those points, ticking over.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, for me, Arsenal are doing very, very well in the position that they have. I think a lot of teams have dropped off this season, but then they're probably one of the ones that stepped up. Newcastle is another team that stepped up, but I did say that they would dip off. I did say Spurs would dip off. I did think Arsenal would dip off a bit, but every time I think that it's about to happen, they get a result.
Another Leicester, didn't it? When all the pundits were like, "Oh, Leicester are going to drop off," and he went on and win the league.
It is. Well, I know Arsenal are a much bigger side than Leicester, but in going by the last 20 years or so, Arsenal are pretty much doing what Leicester did this season. When you're talking about like the lack of trophies that they've had, major trophies. I mean, every trophy that has a penalty and an extended time or extra time is a major trophy. But you're talking about the big ones. They haven't won any of the big ones for the last I don't know how long, and they've never won the big years itself. But under Arteta, he's got a mindset that he's built a good squad of players. I think getting rid of troublesome players in any squad is the best thing for everybody. Aubameyang being moved on,
Man United as well.
Yeah, Ronaldo being moved on is a good call. For these types of squads, I think that they can thrive as Klopp has done. Klopp has come in and he's gotten out a couple of big name players, as in Sacco. At the time he was a big name player with us, PSG and all of that. Coming in and weeding out these players.
Sacco had the ego of Maldini, didn't he? And in reality, he was probably like a Fonte or a
Yeah. So he's coming in and getting rid of these kind of toxic situations within the team, or the ability to become toxic, and just having the right mindset. So he creates world-class players. Am I saying that Arteta's on the same level as Jurgen Klopp? I won't say that for another 3 or 4 years.
Time will tell.
Time will always tell when it comes to a manager. But it's a good start.
Yeah, by laws, and I mean, it's spot on. Like, tell you what, if he does do the business for Arsenal this season, mate, and it's going to be a special season if they do actually win the league, mate. And obviously, are you a fan of Arsenal? I am. Like, obviously,
I've always enjoyed them back in the early days.
Because I was speaking to Lalu, obviously, big up Lalu as well. Speaking to Lalu on obviously the Newcastle watch along before this morning, and obviously he's got a lot of Arsenal relatives, and they do obviously that's what it is all about, winding each other up. And he was like, I hope he was hoping that Arsenal don't do it, but I'm the other way. But you're a bit of a fan of Arsenal.
But yeah, I'm a fan of them more so than Manchester City or Manchester United getting in there. So if I had a choice between the three to win the league, it's Arsenal by a country mile. If I had a choice between, let's say it this way, if I had a choice between City, United, and Chelsea to win the league, I couldn't, not on the way it's gone this season with Manchester City. If it was before all this news came out, I probably would have said City over Chelsea and all of them, But yeah, no, look, there's always favourites down. Newcastle have always been. I've always had a kind of a soft spot for them outside Liverpool. But No, if it was any of those teams, I would have rather Newcastle over any of them, really. But
Yeah.
Arsenal for me out of the rest. Yeah.
And Helly, get your Manchester United obviously starting 11 in the comment section below. Obviously, we've had a great day, Helly, and obviously a great weekend. And Tom, of course, has gone 2-0 Manchester United. I'd say Mod's time him out, but
what does Tom say? Well, I remember that because I was speaking true facts about everything being in the. Yeah, it's not like that. It wasn't mean nasty. It's just true facts.
Yeah, but it's caused hope. And it's all about, we've got to have hope as a Liverpool fan. You never walk alone. And
doubters to believers,
and it probably is. And probably all of us are quite deluded anyway. That's what rival fans say about us Liverpool fans. But love it. We love it. That's why we've got 6 European Cups, 19 league titles, and the rest, the rest. So, yeah.
Home form is a big play in these fixtures between Liverpool and United. It's a massive play. They kind of saved themselves last time because the last time we played anything on Old Trafford before that was like the 5-0, really, wasn't it? Before the 2-1.
What a game.
So, what a game. So, I mean, for them, they needed to recover at their next home game at Old Trafford, straight away. And if they didn't, that it was just going to be a nightmare from.
This is Anfield. At Old Trafford.
Oh, yeah, that would have been brilliant. But no, but we're at home this time, man. We've 10 points out of 12 now. No matter what the form is happening recently, we're in a good vein of form in the league at the moment, and we'll always have little blips, like Crystal Palace 0-0. United will have blips. City have had blips. Arsenal have had their blips as well. So it doesn't matter. These teams will have blips. Newcastle have lost or have dropped up, but that's against City today. And City have been poor this season, in my opinion. By their standards, I think they've been very poor this season. So for me, I think they've changed their game considerably since Haaland came in, and they've been just playing too many long balls to his game, and it hasn't worked out quite as well. It's worked out for him getting a few goals, but they haven't won games. Unless he's scoring at least 3 goals a bloody game, and that's just the way it's kind of turned out from. They've lost their identity a bit of small, but I think Man City. But I think United tomorrow, I think it's all going to come down to Liverpool controlling the game and bypassing Casemiro. I think it's going to be important to bypass Casemiro as often as possible and take him out of the game. Because if he gets any control in that midfield, then I think we'll have issues. I think we have to watch the long balls over the top to Rashford.
It's very much going to be a baptism of fire, then it made for obviously our Bajcetic, our young lads.
I just want to see Bajcetic, like Johan Cruyff in it between his legs or something for the crack. That'd be great. So
he was doing that against Real Madrid, and of course it just wasn't his fault, really, was it, mate? But we'll speak about that and speak about starting 11 in little second. But we'll get to everyone's comments. Everyone's bloody smashing it in the comment section below tonight. Absolute bloody legends. I'm excited. Obviously doing the build-up show with Kev and every single one who's. It's literally got me quite hyperactive going into tomorrow night's game. I'll be going 6-0 to the Neds tomorrow. Yeah, there we go. Before kick-off. And then hopefully we don't turn up in the first 5 minutes and we can see first. But that's not happening because we're thinking positive here, chat. But big up there as well. Matthias, big up there, matey. Yeah, he did. You love to see it. I'd much rather Arsenal had an extra couple of minutes than Manchester United tomorrow. All good. Well, I remember that. Behave, Tom. The intensity and belief of the fans will grind against Manchester United players will do nothing. Hopefully there, mate. Hopefully don't do nothing. Lalu, Liverpool 1-0 tomorrow. Nunes scores. Happy days. If it's as easy as you write that, mate, then happy days, mate. Tell you what, we could all envision Darwin Nunes, imagine it, Kev, scoring in front of the cop, going absolutely mad, probably jumping in the crowds, getting a red card, second booking or something, and then it'd be worth him getting a second yellow card after jumping in the crowd.
It'd be that type of player, wouldn't he, to do it? But I think he needs to keep his head. I think he needs to wind up Martinez more than anything else.
I was going to say that's going to be an interesting tactical battle between them two, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he needs to wind up Martinez. Wan-Bissaka won't get wound up so much. He'll kind of drop the head of it, so you'll make him drop the head easily. But you want feisty defenders and feisty players to get wound up really by players like Nunes. He's going to be a handful. He is another Diego Costa in a way, You know, in that kind of way, when he gets going, he can really wind up players, but he has to keep his head. He has to be the artist of the wind up and not the victim of the wind up. So that's what happened to him at the start of the season. He just got wound up too easily and just let it get to his head. Ever since, though, he's been an absolute beast for us.
He's got previous with Martinez as well. Obviously, the Champions League last year. Obviously, they beat Porto. Benfica beat Ajax it was in the group stages or knockouts anyway.
Yeah.
And he played quite well against them. I don't know if you watched that game, but
he's tall. He's been winning every header against Martinez, to be honest with you. And I think he'll know how to play against them. So I think you're going to see a lot of balls. So that's why I'm making my decision on the right back in a minute when we're talking about it. Yeah. So there's many reasons to this. So, and I think it can be exploited against United.
Yeah. Oh, interesting enough for Helly said there in terms of Manchester United point of view. Hope Shaw is fit. Took a knock against, I can't remember, way too many chances, way too many matches, and he's been quite inspired for him. Matthias has gone with possible lineup for his point of view. He's gone with Alisson, Trent, Canate, Van Dijk, Robbo, Fabinho, Hendo, Stefan Bajcetic, Salah on the right, Nunes and Jota. Interesting there, mate. We'll get to the start 11 in a second. We won't walk out at half time because we are loyal supporters and we never give up. That's it, Cal. Tell you what, a lot of people on Twitter probably would have walked out of the stadium at probably would have deleted accounts at 3-0 down to AC Milan in 05, but you know, funny thing is football, isn't it? That's the beautiful game. Helly's gone with a starting 11 for Manchester United. David De Gea, Varane, Martinez, Luke Shaw, Alex Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, Fred, and obviously it's the bitter. Obviously looking like it was 4-3 formation for Helly. She's gone Rashford, Bruno, and Anthony. Won't play with an out-and-out striker tomorrow. Interestingly enough, so it'll be interesting. But Kev, just give us your starting 11, please, mate. That obviously that you'd like to see Liverpool play.
Ali in goal. I'm going to leave the right back alone for a second. I'm going to go Kanate, Van Dijk, Robertson. They picked themselves. I'd like to see the feisty Fabinho I've seen for the last couple of weeks. No matter even if he's getting yellow cards stupidly, but this is a bigger game, and you don't see too many cards being brandished around it because it will ruin the game if you brandish too many yellow cards. So Fabinho and Bajcetic just starting there for me. Kate is still not fit, so it's more than likely going to be Hendo to start in there along with them in that midfield. So yeah, it's Fabinho, Bajcetic and Hendo, I think, in there. Up front, definitely Nunes and Salah. And I'm kind of torn between Jota and Gakpo at the moment because Jota started the last game. I think Gakpo's going to start this game. And, you know, especially with the fact that he was going to go to United and all of this. And, he'll want to prove himself as well in the game. And I think Jota coming on can be, a different outlet to us for the last, 25 minutes or so of the game. But for the right back, my head and heart, how can I say it? No. Let's say not head and heart because both of them I love. But you could easily go with Milner in there and try and cover the situation. But then I realised,
I think if Milner plays tomorrow, it's Rashford will well and truly send him into retirement, mate.
But I think the only reason that Milner doesn't play is because Kanate is there. Because he can cover. And if Gomez was in there or if Matip was in there, you probably could have seen Milner play. But the fact that Kanate is in there, I think will allow Trent to get more space. And I think Henderson being in front of, Trent and Kanate on that side is just going to cover Trent on that side to be able to go forward. I want to see Salah tucking in a lot more. I want to see him causing more hassle. I don't want to see him out on Shaw at all. I want to see him in on top of Varane and the 9 in between Varane and Shaw looking for those gaps. So that's what I want to see.
That's one thing that he's spot on. I mean, that's one thing that's done my head in. Go to Satan draws with United in the last couple of seasons. I don't know really if you Kev spot on there in terms of it's going to be interesting from a tactical point whether obviously Ten Hag, as you alluded to, obviously was rumoured to have been linked with Manchester United over the last 24 months prior to his time at obviously PSV. Obviously PSV manager being a certain Manchester United legend up front, Ruud van Nistelrooy. But it obviously it'd be interesting to see if Ten Hag probably knows a lot about him, being Dutch in the Eredivisie, being an ex-Ajax coach as well. Has probably done a lot of scouting reports prior to obviously being in the Eredivisie. Obviously, that's going to be interesting how, if Gakpo does play, how he anticipates him against Manchester United. But he's spot on in terms of obviously Salah being isolated in certain moments this season, because, as you said, there's been certain matches where Liverpool have disappointed this season, where you do analyse Liverpool and Salah certain moments in certain games, and even Luke Shaw in the past has very much shut down that Liverpool's right-hand side down to a T. And I'm just hoping, if that is the case, Kev, or let us know how you would deal with it, mates. But I'm just hoping Salah, if it is the case, if he's pinned out wide, then we do see a lot of fluidity in terms of Liverpool's attacking forward line, and they're just not so rigid, if you get me.
Yeah.
And we're just allowing like Trent to bomb on Robinson or whoever plays left back in terms of Costas, whatever. But I'm just hoping we've got a bit more ideas going into tomorrow night's game.
If it was me, man, and I had a choice, and if I had a choice to pick tomorrow's 11, I would have Gakpo and Jota in at the same time, and I would probably drop Henderson until the second half, and I would put Gakpo on that right hand side, just for out of context, just to have link up play with Salah, Trent, and also Jota and Nunes on the other side of him, and I would just try him just in that float and roll across their defense. And I think that they'll be watching Gakpo so much that they won't pay too much attention to Salah. And this is what the point is. Salah's been isolated because nobody's been caring about Elliott. Nobody's been caring about, people playing on who's playing on the left hand side. They have been watching Thiago, but Thiago also steps back a bit, so he's too deep to actually do anything too often up front in link up play. So for me, I would play a player that's going to cause a bit of a nightmare just at the edge of their box, and that will release Salah and release Nunes tenfold, and Jota will be there to pick up anything else, So for me, that's what I would kind of do. Even Elliott can do it a bit better than Henderson, but I just don't want to be stuck in a situation where the ball gets laid back from Salah to Trent over to Henderson, and Henderson's whipping it into the box to nobody, and it's just a loopy ball again to no one, or Henderson's stepping across to help Fabinho, and he's just looping the ball up to where Salah can't do anything except for get pushed in the back and fall over. So I want to see the best Henderson I possibly can, but I don't want to see him being rash with his passing. So
reverting back to type.
Yeah,
I agree, mate. And as Matthias said, I wouldn't normally suggest Henderson in the lineup from his point of view with the form he has shown lately, but not many players truly understand the importance of these matches, and I believe Henderson will give it his all anyway. But big up there, mates. We'll quickly round off in a little second, mates, as well. This is war in a football context. It's going to come down to bragging rights and who wants it more. Place in the table doesn't matter one bit. And yes, obviously, Helly is a massive Manchester United fan, but this is what the good side of great football and media content as well. Obviously, Helly, very respectful, absolutely sound, lovely person as well. But of course, like in any fan base, every fan base really, it does get sour. And of course, the club, obviously Liverpool and Manchester United, coming together again to try and I'm hoping that we don't hear any chants, but it's fan culture over the last 20, 30 years. It's the sad reality of toxicity in a lot of fan bases. Liverpool as well, and Manchester United both.
And Jack, me and you were here, man. Me and you were here for even for the good ones that are there for United. We're here for them. Mental health is a bad thing, and the fact that you were forced into a childhood of supporting Manchester United is it's not your fault, but I mean we're here to send you in the right direction and point you to the right people to talk to, and we can help. So don't worry, all right, guys. So that's just for the good ones out there.
Big up there, mate. I'll quickly round off here. We'll cap off now, mate. So I'd quickly go with my starting 11. I'd go with, probably agree with Kev, Ali in goal. Chat, if you haven't got your starting 11s, quickly, we're going to be round up in a sec. So go with Ali in goal. Trent right back for me. I'm just hoping we just play our game. I understand where Kev's coming from. A lot of you mentioning potential changes, but I want us to be playing on the front foot tomorrow afternoon. Get a nice early goal. So go Trent, Van Dijk, Canate. I'd like, for me, I've got a feeling he's going to be playing Costas again, mate, because I was really impressed. He was my man in a match against Wolves midweek. But it could be a case of just resting Robbo in terms
He
of
grew
just
into the game a lot, didn't he? Yeah, the
yeah,
first half he
yeah,
was kind of a bit iffy, but yeah, he did grow into the game a lot. So
very
he could have played himself into a position, yeah.
yeah, very switched on. And I'd agree with Kev in terms of just as obviously Matthias said before, Hendo just for the experience. I don't want to be putting Elliot in. Not that I don't trust him, but I just think the occasion might get the better of him really, and especially playing alongside against Casemiro. Casemiro's one of the most experienced footballers in planet Earth at the minute. He's serial Champions League winner. He knows what to do, and he's probably seen his mates a couple of days ago where Real Madrid probably had a little word with Modric and Tony Kroos and went, what was that like playing against him? They'll know how to deal with him. So I'll go with Hendo, Bajcetic and Fabinho. And I go with Nunez on the left, Gakpo through the middle, and then Salah on the right. I've gone with a 1-0. Kev, closing thoughts, chat. Get me your closing thoughts on the game tomorrow.
For me,
what are you hoping for tomorrow?
Control the game. Watch the counter attack because it's obvious where they're going to go after. Like no matter how much United have improved, one thing that they're going to do is make that long ball outlet to Rashford, and that's what they're going to be looking at all day long. It's going to be right to left all day long, and the one thing you really have to do is, which is why I want to see a pressing type side in there, which is why I would see Gakpo in them before Jota, because he will get back and he will tackle Casemiro in front of him if he's playing through the middle. Whereas Jota might be able to nick a bit, but he's not at the level yet. I'm saying 2-0 because I think we score early. I think we'll have a couple of braces, a couple of issues with dealing with their attack, and I think we'll quieten it down a bit. And we've got quite a few clean sheets recently, and 10 points out of 12, and especially playing at home now, I think is a good advantage for us. There's a lot. No matter how confident United are recently, they're going to be dreading this game more than what we are. And I think that we've only got points. That we've got positions to gain. We've more at stake in this. I think this result also is a stake for United, where no matter how even if Arsenal and City go on a bad run of a couple of games, this kind of a loss to us will effectively put them out of any chance of a title race or getting involved in it going forward. So there's a lot at stake for it. But for me, no, I think we'll win it. I think it'll be 2-0. Yeah, and I think Salah might do it again, and maybe Nunez. It'd be nice for Gakpo to get it done as well.
Yeah, yes. We're all going to be an absolute nervous wreck, like 5 minutes prior to kick off. This is what games like this do. This is what's supporting Liverpool Football Club, and the thing. We're all used to big games, and with Helly at Manchester United as well. United fans, this is what we all thrive on. Big games like this, big environments as well. Just wish we had Steven Gerrard in our lineup just so we could kiss the camera once more. But Stevie would be running up and down his living room or the studio. I'm pretty sure. I do wish he'd get Steven Gerrard on, obviously, Sky a bit more, but I think he's contracted to BT, I think, in some way. So sadly they can't. But yeah, of course, we'll have Carragher and Neville tomorrow in the gantry, which will be interesting. But yeah, Brian, I'll tell you what. It's like there's winning Kevin, and then there's imagine if it was a 5-0. We can only hope, but that would.
I think if we do the same to United tomorrow that we did to Real Madrid at the start of that game, before Gomez appeared on the scene, I think that United will crumble, and then it could end up like that, because it was looking like it was going to be 5 or 6-0 to Liverpool against Real Madrid. That's the way it was looking. So it was looking like it was going to be 5 or 6-0 to us, and we were going to drive on because the chances that we had were ridiculous. But I think if we do that early against United, I think they'll crumble. Very, in comparison, but there's no Joe Gomez. He's injured. He's nowhere near the team, which is great for me at the moment. And I hate saying that about him because I've been one of his biggest supporters for the last few seasons. He's just, but he's kind of done for me at the moment.
Yeah. But chat, if you are watching live, a massive thank you to every single one of yous. Of course, a massive thank you, Kev. Obviously, please do shout out all your socials. If you're going live tonight, I don't know you. But any future, you're doing it. Well, I'll let you introduce you. Well, everyone knows the channel, but shout out your socials. You're live tomorrow.
I'm big. All right. Yeah, I'll be live a bit late tonight, I think, but it might be until like around midnight or afterwards. I've been recently playing Sons of the Forest and obviously Hogwarts Legacy, but I'm being really evil. So so I played that 3 times over, and I'm on the 4th time playing a Hufflepuff. We're doing that at the minute. Hey, Jack. How's it going?
Oh, sorry, that.
So,
Me
Jack
with
could have just
buttons.
kind of went.
This is why I don't work in
Jack,
like
put
BT.
your back on. Put your back on. Put your back on. Put your
Yeah.
back up. Put
Well,
yourself big again. Put yourself
Oh
big
yeah,
again.
there we go.
Yeah. So Jack is going to speak on my behalf now. So he's just going to open and close his mouth. He has to do it really fast just to keep up. Watch.
There we go.
No, but lads, yeah, you'll find me on Spider and YouTube. You'll find me at Spider LFC on YouTube. You'll find me at Irish Spider Guy on Twitch and Spider _LFC on Twitter. So, on Facebook, Spider on Facebook. I do double streaming also. So.
Oh yeah, big up there, Revenant as well. As I said, big up Revenant, big up Brian. Massive thank you for that, Brian. Obviously, there's Kev's link, so please do.
I just finished a stream of about 2 hours of playing Evil on Hogwarts Legacy before I came on to Jack, actually. Yeah. So on Facebook and YouTube, yeah. So
playing as Jose Mourinho or something. I am Jose Mourinho.
Yeah. So I might create a character and go around doing that, you know, evil Jose Mourinho just doing
it. He's football heritage.
No, I just go, I have 3 more than any other manager.
But yeah.
And then I correct everybody who calls me Jose and say I am Jose.
We're not all quite parking the bus. Hopefully, Man United don't park the bus tomorrow. Hopefully, Liverpool park the bus when we're 5-0 up. But chat, as I said, we will be live. Big up, Bird, mate. Thank you very much for all your support, as always, everyone. If you are watching on the repeat, make sure you head over and subscribe to Kev. Obviously, subscribe over there if you're new as well. We'll be doing a watch along for the game tomorrow. It's a double watch along tomorrow. Obviously, we're not watching the Dross in the morning, so we're doing a Liverpool watch along, obviously the big one, and then obviously in the evening, I think we got an Italian game on. I think I've scheduled it anyway, so I'm going to be there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But a massive thank you, Kev, and
cheers.
A massive thank you, as always, to every single one of you tomorrow. Reverend said, so annoyed, working at 10:30, 6:30 tomorrow, so we'll miss the game. Hope I can come home to a good result. Well, Reverend, as I said, hopefully you have a good day in work, mate. Hopefully it's not too busy. But yeah, fingers crossed, Reverend. Try and avoid everyone, because I've done that in the past. I think that's what everyone tries to do. If you can, I don't know if what your working environment is. Like sometimes just try and don't look at your phone and try and not get anyone really to spoil it for you, so you can come back at night and watch match of the day
and enjoy it.
But yeah, enjoy it really.
Something popped up about Moises Caicedo. I was just checking what it was. Sorry.
Has he put out another social media post?
Signed a new contract.
Yeah, he just signed a new contract. Okay, that was last night. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, big up there, mate. But very hectic. But yeah, well, front of house. Well, I've done a lot of hospitality, mate, and an absolute bloody legend. So, as I said, hopefully it's quiet, mate. But enjoy it, mate, if you come back. And as I said, hopefully the Reds get all 3 points to every single one of you. So big up Beard, big up Kev as well, Revidence, obviously Helly as well. Olameji as well. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. And obviously Matthias, absolute legend. Carl, of course. Henry, Lalu, absolute Shay.
Even Tom.
Mark, Tom. All ears, you're absolute legends. You make these shows as well. As I said, a massive thank you from me and Kev as well. And Reds, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. If you're going out tonight, behave, as you know, and look after yourselves. And if you're staying in, have a lovely night as well. But see you later. See you tomorrow. Me and Kev will be on the post-match, hopefully. And hopefully the Reds get all 3 points. But until tomorrow, Reds, you never walk alone. I'll see you later.